27th of May today, and we would like to address some of the questions that came through, give you a bit more heads up on where we're at and what's coming, and hopefully bring you up to speed with where the project is now. We have Tristan with us. Tristan will help us with communicating the questions that came through and those that will come through during the MA, and we'll try to address them one by one.
And thank you to everybody who put forward a question. It's greatly appreciated. It's great to see the community involved. So we've had a few questions come through. Looking forward to put Gennady in the hot seat.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. So let's begin.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, so first question, when is 2.0 going live?
So 2.0, as we mentioned, we are still aiming for June. So it's mid to late June. We are in final stages of testing. But yeah, so I think we should be on track for mid to late June to go live.
And so with 2.0 coming out, is there any marketing around that? Does that kick off anything? What can we do to further the 2.0 release?
Certainly. So we are actually, the marketing is the trigger for the marketing to start is the release of the 2.0. We have incorporated a lot of learning that we had on the UX and the UI of the app to make the app more easier to use. Obviously with that to improve our retention and that's, we're waiting for the 2.0 release before we start the marketing. So as soon as the app hits the app stores, we're gonna tap on a number of marketing activities that we have planned.
Okay, what were some of the key learnings that you had from that you're introducing into 2.0?
So we have actually enabled very in-depth analytics of the user experience. So we can actually see at one point consumers feel puzzled, they don't know where to go, or at one point they drop off. When do they go on this sort of hunt, trying different options because they don't know which one they need to select in order to do a particular action. So all of this learning we have took on board. We have went back to the sort of drawing board, redesigned some of the functionality, some of the pop-ups, moved few buttons around, changed coloring, make sure that the text is in a better contrast. So there is a lot of work went in from the analyzing the analytics that we have captured and we continue to capture. So 2.0 is by far not our final version. So we will continue to learn of the user experience to continue to strive to make the app very usable and enjoyable to use. For us, the adoption of the app and growing this multi-million army of app users is the key to our success. That's why working on the app and making sure that the app is relevant to every single user, if that can be achieved, that's our aim.
And while we're on that functionality, we've spoken about when will Coinbase withdrawals be enabled. Can you give any indication to the community about that?
Coinbase integration is part of 2.0. That's one of the very exciting features that we're looking forward to release. So with 2.0, app users would be able to move their coins from Shping app to Coinbase without incurring the gas fee, and the transition is going to be almost instantaneous. So that's that feature is part of 2.0.
Awesome. Okay. Well, look, on the crypto market, we've heard the term crypto winter being bandied around the community. Tell me about your thoughts are on the current crypto market and what that means for Shping.
Crypto market is driven by a number of factors. It's what's happening around the world, a lot of economic factors, pandemic and everything else. And so it's something that almost impossible to predict or project. However, our philosophy, and we actually said it from very early in the beginning, is that we want to create a natural demand for the coin, and that's essentially part of our ecosystem, is to generate demand for the coin regardless of what's happening with traders. And at this stage, with a lot of the projects, traders make up a very big percentage of the liquidity, and which is great for a lot of projects, particularly those who are in early stages or still in the concept stage. But for us, we have already a real volumes coming from the actual use of the utility token. And once we move to growth phase and then go internationally, the volume generated by the natural demand from the brands buying the coins to fuel the engagement with consumers, once this becomes the majority of the trading, we believe that those projects that reliant on the natural demand will not be that dependent on the market sentiment. And even if the traders reduce their trading for whatever reason, the natural demand will sustain the liquidity and the demand for the coin. And so that we don't really bothered or concerned what's happening on the market right that second. We obviously want sentiment to be stronger, like everyone, but we move towards a slightly different goal, and it's not the sort of short-term spikes, it's the sustainable operation of the coin on the market.
Okay. Look, we mentioned Coinbase just before. Is there any plan for us to go further with other exchanges or to be released on other exchanges?
Look, we are in discussions with pretty much most of the major, if you look at the coin market cap, look at the top 20, even top 30 exchanges, we are in some kind of discussions with pretty much all of them. We understand that a lot of exchanges want to list coins that probably have a more global presence. And it's been mentioned by some of the exchanges, and we also believe that once we start making those international steps, the coin will become more appealing to a lot of other exchanges. Not to say that we believe that we still probably get some listings before we make the international expansion. At least we hope so, and we working towards it. We believe that as the coin becomes more globally adopted, it will open up the opportunity for more listings to other big, great exchanges.
And one of the things you talked about before this was that brands are a major component about the Shping economy. And so what's the retention of brands on the platform at the moment?
I think it's probably would sound maybe a bit too bullish, but we have great retention. I think it's close to 100%. There are some brands that have paused their activities only because of the lack of budget for that particular financial year. But most of our brands who come on board and go through the trial period, if that was part of the offering, they all stay on, and they're quite amazed with what Shping delivers. In fact, some of the activity they do in other platforms, Facebook and Google and so on, they do shift some of the budget from there to Shping only because of the high conversion and the cost of the conversion and the effectiveness of the platform. We get very good support. Our brands are very big ambassadors of Shping. For a lot of brands, they typically they feel a squeeze from retailers. In Australia, and that's probably happening around the world, retailers trying to increase their market share by coming up with their own home brands. And often the quality of those home brands could be quite competitive. And because they control the relationship with the end consumer, brands feel that they lacking this relationship with the end consumer, and they feel that gaining this relationship would strengthen their position on the market. So for them, Shping is a tool which they've all been looking for, and once they become comfortable and realize the effectiveness of it, they really stand behind us and helping us any way they can.
Okay. And the brands, you say they're doing really well on the platform, and I suppose that leads into our next question about one of the case studies that Shping is producing, which is for George Weston Foods. And I'll say that there was an announcement into the community and somebody wanted to know a bit more about what the case study involved and who it was with. I can certainly talk to that, which is that George Weston Foods, their brand Tip Top, which they produce about 1 million loaves a day in the Australian marketplace, they've agreed to do a case study with us, one which will be written, one which will be through video. We're super excited about this because they've had amazing results for the platform, to be honest, and they really want to showcase what Shping has done for them in relation to other platforms. And we're looking at probably about the end of June, July, into July to finish off that kind of video case study, but we'll certainly have a written one before that. But it's really exciting to have a brand such as Tip Top to be able to speak about what Shping's done for them and what the relationship has been with us and how easy our platform is in reaching the end consumer. So stay tuned for that. I think that's going to be really telling to other brands, to get other brands on board as well, that we're here to stay, and we've shown some amazing results in such a short turnaround. So let's talk about the international expansion while we've touched on that recently. What are the plans for international expansion?
As we mentioned earlier, Australia is our test market. We want to make sure that the app, the relationship with the consumers, with brands, the whole tokenomics works tested before we take the product to international market. We are in this testing phase still in Australia. We are making some great progress, and we believe that towards the end of this calendar year, early next year, we can start plan for next international market. The rollout is going to be a lot faster because we're going to be using a lot of learnings that we learned in Australia, and there are a lot of similar markets. Each market has its own things that are only particular to those markets that needs to be taken into account, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of learning as we go to the new markets. But there are a lot of overlap and in the knowledge that we can actually extend to those new markets that we believe will allow us to do rollouts a lot quicker once we start this journey.
So what do you think is going to be the biggest obstacle for Shping to going into these international markets?
I think a lot of the key obstacle that we have actually learned how to overcome in Australia is creating a value proposition for the consumers that once they download the app, they're going to stay on the app and they're going to see the value in using the app. We will obviously extend that to the international markets. It would involve setting up all of the similar relationships that we have in Australia with certification bodies, industry organizations to create a pool of data that we can then make available as part of the app. In saying that, we already have a substantial database of the international products for US, for UK, and so some of the work already started to sort of progress, but it's not probably a challenge. It's just a set of things that would need to be done, and once again, doing things once you've done it before, going to be a lot easier.
So you would say that you've laid the foundation for international expansion
Certainly,
already?
certainly, and we will probably try to go first to the markets which are very similar in culture to Australia, but at the same time we're also very interested in some Asian markets where the culture could be completely different, but still it's a great markets to tap into, and there is a high demand for the applications like ours, and nothing like that exists at this moment. So. Yeah, so we're interested in to go in all directions, but step by step.
Okay. Look, this one's probably more of a technical question from the community, which would be, I could still withdraw Shping from my ERC20 wallet, but recently Shping seems to not allow it. Why was this option removed? Are you returning that functionality anytime soon?
Certainly, I think we've addressed this question earlier. For us, it's important to know that the user of the application is the unique user, and that the data generated is not skewed. It's was generated with the natural use of the application, so that the data has value for us and for the brands that we work with. Unfortunately, and it happens with any type of new technology, there were some users who were trying to take advantage of the platform, generating high volumes of scans. This data have actually would affect the integrity of our data and in the reports that we're producing, and we had to develop ways and methods to capture this activity and to stop this activity on the platform by shutting down those accounts. One of the main attraction for those those who take advantage of the system is obviously moving coins to their wallets. When we're doing a cash out, we can verify that that user is the verified KYC user of a bank, and then we can use the bank as the sort of a verification method. We know that the user have done KYC, and therefore we can trust that it's a legitimate real account. When coins transferred to ERC20 wallets, because you don't really need to prove your identity to generate one, it made it very difficult for us to rely on the existence of the ERC wallet as the method of verifying the user. So what we've decided to do is that first we're only gonna allow cash outs to be done, and then we looked at the option of maybe introducing KYC and only allow transfer of coins to ERC20 wallets for those who have completed KYC. But then, with discussion with Coinbase, we realized that we can actually allow users to transfer their coins to exchange, to a wallet within the exchange, and using the wallet within the exchange and knowing that the person has an account on the exchange, we can then rely upon the KYC done by the exchange. So this is the direction we are made the decision to go towards, and we're starting with Coinbase, where users will be able to move their coins to Coinbase, and then from there they can move it to any wallets they want to. But besides Coinbase, we're planning to do similar integration with all the other exchanges that we're currently working with. So that would give a lot of options for app users to move their coins to their own wallets, and then either trade them, move them elsewhere, and so on.
Okay. Have you thought about setting up a staking or farm opportunity?
That's not something that we considered ourselves. We know that some of the exchanges that we work with are planning some activity to provide further incentive for users to trade one coin or the other, and Shping coin is going to be one of them. We're also working on some other joint marketing activity with some of our exchanges, and we hope that we'll be able to announce that very soon. That's going to be a very big activity in terms of the exposure, but probably just a touch early to talk about it right now. So we hope that maybe by the next AMA, or maybe in between with our Friday updates, we'll share any exciting news that we would have.
Okay. And finally, do you have anything
Look,
else for the community?
as always, we're very grateful for the support we get from the community. I think we're quite grateful to have a very strong believers. A lot of members of our community have been with us from day one, when from the ICO. That shows that there is a strong belief in the project, and we are very thankful and grateful for anyone who's joined us on this journey. We hope it's going to be an exciting and long journey together. So thank you very much once again. Stay tuned, and we hope to share more exciting news with you in the very near future.
Great. Okay.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks.
Have a great weekend.